Hi, Alan Graham from Tree Hugger. Did you know that roughly 3.5 million Americans, including over 1 million children, have been homeless for a significant portion of time? In addition to that, about 37 million people can't afford to put food on their tables, much less good nutritious food like fresh fruits and vegetables. 18 years ago, I was one of those statistics. In a nation as rich as ours, I believe that access to affordable, healthy food should be a right and not a luxury. My wife and I donate a shipment of organic foods twice a month to a local nonprofit called Join. Join works to get homeless people and families off the streets and into homes of their own by providing security deposits, rent, household materials, and regular visits. I recently had an opportunity to visit Join's Portland headquarters and talk with their staff about how they get people off the streets and the importance of proper nutrition. With the holidays rapidly approaching, take a moment to think about how difficult it is for some people to enjoy the meals that we take for granted, and realize the difference in someone's life that you could make by simply donating a box of fresh food once a month.
I think we started in around 1992, and there was a core group of folks who were associated with St. Francis Dining Hall. And out of that experience, they started our immersion program, which is an educational program for primarily high school age kids. They come to Join and have this immersion experience where they are taken around town by some formerly homeless folks to kind of see what the services are available, what it actually feels like to be homeless in Portland, where you get a meal. There's a gentleman who was helping out for a while who took the kids dumpster diving. So it's a symbolic homeless experience, and the kids learn a lot about what that experience is like. And in the conversation with the folks who were helping us out with the immersion program, it became pretty clear that what their primary need was permanent housing. Like, there's shelters, which are necessary, there's food, which is really good, but for a lot of folks, they just wanted help into a place, and they would be able to maintain it. We have 6 outreach workers. I'm one of the outreach workers who visit folks where they're camping, where they're physically sleeping outside or in their cars. We visit people throughout the city of Portland, and basically the first interaction is really simple. We say hello and introduce ourselves, and often we have blankets or socks or something useful. Many people have an idea of what it would take for them to move off the streets, so we just try to make that happen. And what that looks like in a tangible way is we pay application fees, we pay deposits, sometimes first and last month rent requirements, depending on the situation. We help connect them maybe with some landlords who are a little more flexible in their screening criteria. A lot of folks we work with have somewhat recent evictions, so we also have landlords who are a little more flexible with that as well. And then once folks move in, we stay in touch with them for at least a year afterwards to help them stabilize, and that's where our retention team comes in, and we'll support them however we can. Sometimes that's a utility payment, sometimes it's 1 month of rent in an emergency, sometimes it's food box, sometimes it's going to medical appointments.
It's really challenging, and we'll see that folks will have such a sense of missing community. There's a strong community on the street, that the loneliness of moving inside is for many people one of the biggest obstacles. And given that folks move in wherever we can find a landlord willing to work with them, someone might find themselves living in a part of the city that they don't know. They don't know where the laundromat is, they don't know where the grocery store is, they don't know how to get around. And that's a large part of why we continue to have a supportive relationship, help people blend in, settle into the new community, find the resources that they need. I'm a retention worker here at Join, and my job is to visit folks. Some folks want to see me once a month or less. They're really settled, they're really stable. Other folks, need someone that they can call on a regular basis. I might stop by and see them 2 or 3 times a week. Someone might just want a friend to sit down and have some coffee with them in their living room. Someone else might need help getting to medical appointments. Really try to set up the relationship as a friendship rather than a case management relationship. We see that people respond a lot better to that, end up finding a lot more independence. Right now, I would say that our success rate is around 70%. So after 1 year of housing, 70% of the folks that we've put into housing are still at the place that they're at. When you're living outside, you eat convenience food, you eat at soup kitchens. So when you move into an apartment, finally on your own, and there's a kitchen, many people don't have great cooking habits, and when they do establish them, they don't know what to start eating. And food boxes that we provide from the Oregon Food Bank is often not fully sustaining food. It's kind of side bits and random things that don't go well together. And a lot of folks don't really have the habit of buying good local produce. But I have a garden in my yard, and sometimes I've just brought a squash to someone and they will be so excited to have a zucchini and immediately tell me what they're going to do with it, and they know exactly how they're going to eat it. And so it's not that folks aren't excited about eating fresh vegetables and fruit, they just don't have a lot of access to it, maybe don't have the habit of bringing it into their home. I was visiting a gentleman yesterday who had just gotten a box of fresh fruit and vegetables delivered last week, and he told me everything that was in it, what he ate it with and how he ate it, and what he liked better than what, and what he was hoping he would get next time if he got a box of fresh fruit and vegetable, which is really, really wonderful to see his story about that. But I would say that some families as well, their income is just above the limit of not getting food stamps. And when you don't receive food stamps, it's really hard to prioritize enough of the money that you have left over to make good food choices. When you're given a food stamps card, the only thing you can spend it on is food stamps. If you don't receive food stamps, then it's easy to say, well, I have to pay this utility bill, I have to pay my phone bill, or the kids need new sneakers, they're going back to school. And we work with low-income families that will find that they don't have the money to buy the foods that they should. The gentleman I was talking to yesterday about the fruit and vegetables he got, his income is a little over $900 a month. So he doesn't qualify for food stamps, but his rent is $675. And then you add to that he buys himself a monthly bus pass, he pays his utilities, and he pays his phone, and he's left with, $100 to buy himself food for the whole month. He's not buying fruit and vegetables, not buying healthy things. We house over 400 people a year, 250 households, and all of them struggle to get the food that they would like to eat or is good for them to eat. So there's definitely a lot of demand out there, a lot of need. By your own hand. And will you live with those mistakes of the children